Yes.
So shall we start? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So hello, Mr. Andre. Today we're gonna discuss our answers for the IELTS Prep 1, page 45 to 46. We'll be omitting number 3 and 4 and page 46 due to it being a paragraph. And so we'll continue to the discussion. The pairs per usual are gonna be me and Ariq, and then there's gonna be Mario and Tala. So let's begin. So for
Okay.
okay, so Ariq, would you mind sharing your answers for number 1A?
Okay. So my answers for completing the sentence with comparative forms of the word is number one is computers are able to identify routine illness much accurately. And then number two is we can more easier for normal people to program computers. And then for number three is we can more common for certain university subjects to become than they used to be. And then number four is we can more popular when creative writing courses. And then in number five, we can more carefully to think about the studying in university. And then for number six is they won't be able to spend more money on creative writing courses. And then number seven, universities will need to offer viewers fact-based in courses in the future. And then for the last number in number one is we can more creatively train the architecture students in the future. And then for the B part is okay. So the A is the adjective is easier, popular, and common. And then for the B is the adverb is accurately, carefully, and creatively. And then for the C is quantifiers is fewer or more. And then for the number 2A, okay, is still me or you win?
Oh, yes, number 2A is me. So
Okay.
going into the filling the blanks in 2A. So there were, of course, there weren't more subjects at school in the past. That's one. The second one is history wasn't more practical as it is today. The third one is students wait, students weren't encouraged to think more creatively. And then continuing on, um, memorizing is less important. Um, Let me read it. Today than it was then. Sports were, wait, let me see. Sports sports were more highly valued in the past. Sports are not right, are valued less these days or are not valued more these days. Number six, students were more respectful of their teachers before, so students are less respectful today these days. Technology was less dominant than it is today. Technology um, wasn't more dominant as is more dominant today. And then continuing on for number eight, students weren't as under pressure than as they are today. Students are under more pressure than they are today. So that's for 2A. Now for 2B, of course, schooling has changed a lot over the last 25 years. You know, as we know it, they were a lot more traditional. They were not as progressive. They do not have the amount of subjects that we have today. So yes, of course, it's changed a lot, but I think it's for the better since oh shoot, since there is a huge increase in terms of the intelligence, the ability to read, and the cognitive thinking of many kids in the future generations and our generations as well. So that's my that's how I thought how school has changed over the last 25 years. So continuing on to you, Ari,
Okay.
for the answers for 3A and 3B.
Okay. So for the for the um, for the 3A, we completing the text with comparative or superlative forms of the words. Okay, so in the 90s, a few subjects had a reputation for being the dullest in history because of the pure that history was taught. Children were more aware of the differences in time periods than they are today. The names of the most important leaders and the dates of works are much more interesting to children than stories about their daily life. And then the horrible history books has changed it all. And what were toilets like in the past? What were um, the most disgusting job in history? Did you know woolly mammoths were still walking in the planet when one of the most ancient? And then for the six, for the sorry, for the seven is more it's older than, and then the eight is more grateful, and then for the nine is less likely, and then for the 10 is the better. Okay, continuing on to 3B. So okay, so we compared history when was taught when we are school and now. I think the history that was taught on school is not too interesting compared to now when I think teacher now is using creative ways to talk about history to the children at now. And then continue on to you, Ben, for the 4A. Ben.
Yes. My bad. So for I will do English, and I'll be mentioning it in order based on the numbers.
Okay.
So from number 1 to 8. So 1 is the most common. 2 is twice as many. 3 is slightly higher. 4 is second most popular. 5 is the same as, and 6 is half as many. 7 is much lower, and the last one, number 8, is as popular as. Those are the fill in the blanks for 4A. Guess since that, I think that ends my section. Yeah. So, Tala, Mario, I'll, you know, I'll let you take the wheel for page 46.
All right, thank you, Ben. I think I'm gonna start with the number 1 of page 46. So 1A, the first question is, how do students pay for university in your country? I think some of students here in Indonesia are usually looking for, scholarship, and especially for abroad study, but some of the students also pay direct to the university. The fee of college are usually divided into, I think, 3 types of fee, which are the entry tuition fee, the semester fee, and SKS fee. Yeah, SKS fee. And for the second question of number 1, would you like to study abroad for a year? Which country would you like to go? Yes, I would like to study abroad. I think to Silicon Valley area, because actually I want to learn how to grow a startup company and technological company, because as we all know, many successful company and startups came from Silicon Valley. And also my oldest brother also studied there for 3 years, and I have visited him for a few times, so I think I already know about the town a little bit. And moving on to the next question, look at the bar chart below. What information does the chart show? I think the chart shows about the average cost of undergraduate degree in 2015 and in 4 countries such as UK, Australia, US, and Germany. And for the C, find the country with the highest overall cost. I think Australia, and the lowest overall cost Germany, the highest and lowest study fees Australia, US, and Germany, and the highest and lowest living costs Australia and US. Moving on to the next question, Tala.
Tala, you're still muted.
Sorry, guys. Okay, so for page 46, the number one part, part D. Hold on. I'm just gonna say it with the sentences. So part D. The total cost of a degree in Australia was over 50% higher than in the UK. And then study fees in Australia and the USA were over 4 times higher than those of Germany. The total cost of a 3-year degree in Australia was around 50% than that of the UK. And then the fourth is study fees in Australia were almost twice as high as in the UK. So moving on to number 2. Complete the paragraph with the words below. I'm just gonna do the same as I did in the number 1. I'm just gonna read the whole passage. So the country with the highest overall cost was Australia. Both the living expenses and the course fees were the highest among the 4 countries in the study. And then, although the cost of a degree in Australia was almost twice as high as in the UK, and almost 4 times as high as that of Germany. That meant that study fees were quite high in the USA, living expenses were much cheaper. All in all, the total cost of a degree in the USA was slightly lower than Australia. And then the last part is, in fact, it was much cheaper to study in 2 European countries, the UK and Germany. So I guess that's it for number 2. And then the number 3 and the number 4 part is the writing task. So I guess we don't discuss about that. So yeah, that's about it.
Thank you, Tala. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Ariq. So a bit of recap and a bit of peer review.
Okay, I'll stop. Yeah, I'll stop recording.
Thank you, guys.
Thank